nothing's possible. Binky Mac on the track, DJ Sales, Iceberg the Great, Mr. Los Angeles. I'm here with the sisters that's working against gang violence. You got Miss Bubbles, Miss Spring, Lady Slick, Putt, and Mary the Therapist. And Miss Mary the Therapist, man, she got that card for you. She wants you to sit down and tell her about how you feel. She'll make sure you walk around feeling good about yourself. I need all the G's, YG's, OG's, double G's, triple OG's. Without y'all, we can't make it happen, man. This is our community. Our main goal is to reach the young children that are followed by the TVs and media. Special thanks to the commander for the elite gang intervention training. Special shout out to Skip Townsend for opening the door. Like I said, these ladies are here to help. They're here for gang intervention, domestic violence. Shout out to those who support. They here for the mothers who lose their sons to jail and or death. So, if you with the movement, please check these sisters out. Like I said, Miss Bubbles, Miss Spring, Lady Slick, Putt, and Mary the Therapist. Working against gang violence. Working against gang violence. V.
Good evening. Welcome to Swag Talk. I first want to start off with an opening prayer. Lord, I just ask you to bless me and bless us sitting here at this table. Speak through us, Lord, and just give us the wisdom, and anyone that's out there listening, touch their hearts, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Well, I want to thank everybody who's here. Thank you, Anthony, for sitting in with us, my special guest. My co-host, Sandra, thank you once again. This is Spring. Unfortunately, Bubbles is not here with us. She's out taking care of business, traveling graces to her, LS, as well. We want to say prayers to LS, as well as her traveling graces, too. So today's topic is loss of fathers due to death and incarceration. I think everyone at this table can have a little input on that, and all the callers too. I'm sure everyone can kind of contest to this. So let's go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and get the show started. Okay. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine.
That's good. Is this Bubbles?
Bubbles is always in the house, even when she's gone. How about that?
Bubbles. That's what she's supposed to be. Bubbles, Anthony is sitting in with us today because he has some things to share with this topic. So we appreciate that you are able to sit in with us, Anthony.
Hi, Anthony. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you, Sandra. Was Keisha able to make it?
Keisha had some car problems, but she's on the line. She will be calling in because, as you know, she has some input to put into this topic as well.
Okay. I want to just thank you and commend you, Snoopy, for always being there when we call you and for coming to help assist us. And also just to elaborate a little bit on the conversation that
Right.
how vital it is for women as mothers to stand up and stand out when they've lost the fathers to gang activity or incarceration. I stay focused on the topic of the gang activity because that's one of the reasons why so many children go astray. Some of them are following their father's footsteps. Some of them are just simply looking for love in all the wrong places. And some of them just don't have the proper guidance. But then it takes strong women such as yourselves to step up to the plate and say, hey, I have to do this for my child. So I'm praying that you all have a very nice show. I'm praying that the listeners receive knowledge that they may need. I'm also praying that someone calls in if they need the help, in order to, and the help that they need to continue to keep striving, because we as women so many times give up. And I don't want to just bash the fathers, because we also have sisters out there that are running amok and leaving their children with their kids while they are gangbanging, or they're leaving their kids with granny. And my nephew brought up a good point about men that take on the role and the responsibilities of being there for these women that have been let down by gang members, only for them to be misused and abused. So with that being said, I'll let you all go, and I want you to continue the show, and I pray that all goes well.
And you know what?
Thank you, Anthony.
Bubbles, I want to elaborate on something you said, and it's not just the mothers that's sitting here. It's also goes for you too, the aunties, because it takes more than just the mothers. We have to give shout out to those aunties. You have plenty of nieces and nephews, and you stand side by side and you help them too. So it's all women, So I just needed to give that shout out to you too, because you have always been a strong auntie for all your nieces and nephews too, and trying to keep them on the straightaway, because we know what's on that other side.
Right.
Yeah, and we're also children of, fatherless.
Yeah.
And we had to basically come out and grow ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And what led us to the streets.
Exactly. All right, my dear. Thank you for calling me.
I love you guys much. I'll talk to you later.
Safe travels.
Bye, Anthony.
Bye.
Traveling grace.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get this topic rolling. So, Anthony.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Anthony, I don't know too much about your story.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is your story? What do you have? What can you say about this? How do you, as being a child, how did that affect you as far as not having your father in the household and things like that?
Well, of course, a little backstory. Okay, so my mom had me when she was 19.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 22, so about a good minute ago. She's, I think, 40, 41.
Okay.
So me and my mom have a really close bond. Me and her have a really, really close bond. And at the time when I didn't understand, I didn't even know that my father right now was my stepfather until my mom told me when I was older. As I grew up, my mom told me, oh, the idiot, oh, the dummy, oh, stuff like that, the sperm donor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always thrown off. So finally, how I got the truth out from my mom is in 8th grade, my teacher wanted me to do a project on someone. And she said it has to be a project on someone that, will answer questions, but they have to agree to answer all your questions. And she even made us have them sign a contract saying that they will answer every question truthfully and it will be honest because it will determine my grade. Mm-hmm. So I chose my mom. So I did this behind closed doors with my mom. My mom pretty much told me basically it wasn't even the fact that she loved him. It was a lust thing. She ended up liking this dude, ended up getting pregnant. I'm the one. Now, when I asked her, has he looked for us or no? What I got is she ran into his brother when I was about like 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
She ran into his brother in the food court at a market, and his brother told my mom that he told his family, which is my father, my biological father, he told his family that my mom aborted it and that my mom said that she couldn't do it. She didn't want to have me. When my mom found this out, my mom cried and she told his brother right then, well, he's dead to him. To me, I've always wanted to meet him.
Right.
But I'm too scared to meet him. Why? Because so many things cross in my head. What if he's a gangbanger? What if he's a thug? What if he's some rich dude who's going to try to buy my love back? What if
he doesn't accept you?
What if he doesn't accept me? What if he says, oh, you know what? You were just a mistake. You were just, or like I've thought of everything down to the fact where he would tell me, "Oh, the condom ripped and you were a mistake."
Right.
So many years I've hated him to the point where I've told cops. I was a police explorer growing up as a police explorer. I went on a ride along with an officer, and I told the officer straight up, "I want to kill him." The officer's
Wow.
like, you saying that, I can arrest you. I have no problem with that, officer. I'll let you handcuff me right now. I want to kill him. I really do.
Right.
But then he showed me and he talked to me. He goes, "You killing him isn't going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a father?" I said, "Yes, I have a father." And then he goes, "Don't let it affect your relationship." Now, my father, who I consider my biological father, came into my life when I was 3. Now, from when I was born till 3, my mom was the mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, I never once did I go not hungry. I never went once without not being fed, not having clothes on my back, not because my mom hustled. My mom worked 2 jobs and she still went to school.
Mm-hmm.
She still did all that stuff by herself, and she still watched my uncle. And my uncle was the same age as me. He's just like 1 year older than me, 2 years older than me. Then on top of that, I was raised by women. So I was raised by my aunts. I was raised by one uncle. I was raised by my grandma.
Wow.
So I was raised by a whole bunch of women. But what I can take from this is my father now, he showed me the way. He told me, "You're not going to be a little gangbanger. You're not going to be a little thug. You're not going to be a kid who's going to
He
sell."
paved the way.
Right.
He pretty much paved the way. Because
Right.
first, when my parents got together, he was Catholic. Then he turned Christian. And then he didn't know how to raise me because, again, I'm not his, but I am his.
Right.
So he talked to a pastor, and the pastor told him, "God will bring it to you."
Right.
So my dad reads the Bible a lot.
Well, we're going to finish this with you, Anthony. I don't want to cut you off. We have Keisha, which was supposed to come in and be our special guest, but she had some car issues, so she's calling in right now. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Keisha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you calling in.
Hello, Keisha.
Oh, hey, how are you? No problem.
Do you know who just spoke to you, Keisha?
No, I don't.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, this is Sandra. This is Snoopy. I don't know if you remember me. I'm Gumbo's sister.
Oh, I ain't seen it in so long. So, I can't put the name and the face together. I'm just like,
But you know who Gumbo is, so you like, okay, I do know he has a sister.
yeah, I'm thinking hard, too. I'm like,
Well,
it's been
Keisha,
a long time.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, Keisha, today's subject is the loss of fathers due to death and incarceration. And I appreciate you calling. And I have a question for you, and you can kind of tell your story. But I do have a question for you. As a mother raising a child, how hard has it been for you to raise that child after the death of the father?
I mean, it's been hard. You know what I mean? I have my ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to, keep my head above the water, but it's been a rough road though. I done had some good and bad times, but right now, shoot, he's where I didn't want him to go, so he's in juvenile hall right now.
And when you said he's in juvenile hall, who are you talking about?
I'm my son Jesse Jones.
Okay. So
He's 16.
so I know your story, and for those listeners that might be calling in, logging in, that don't know your story, what happened to Jesse's without disclosing, unless it's up to you, but what happened to Jesse's father?
He got killed over here in the jungles in 2001.
Okay. Was he
Yeah, he's a very much gangbanger.
He was active.
Very, yes.
I can relate to your story as well. My kid's father is G. Kev from 20s, and he was murdered in 2000. So I have 2 kids, so I had a struggle. It was completely, I had to step in and do 2 roles. So I can understand where you're coming from.
Right. So
Yeah, 'cause it's like, they got the attitude like, without, it's like his attitude was for like, can't nobody tell me nothing, that ain't my daddy, you know what I'm saying? And like I used to tell him, even if your daddy was here, you know what I mean? You wouldn't even like him because he'd be punching your head in, you know what I'm saying? Because, or it's being disrespectful and all that, I'm just trying to raise you to be a respectable young man, But you want to go out here and thinking, everybody's your friend, this and that. You don't want to listen. And I was saying, God got a better plan for you than I do. So now you somewhere that I was trying to tell you don't want to be.
So I have two questions for you, Sandra, as well as Keisha. So how has the death of your child's father, how has it affected you guys as children?
Well, you go ahead, Keisha.
Yeah, it take a toll on him. You know what I mean? It really takes, because for one, he didn't know him. You know what I mean? So it's really, he's searching to find out who really knew him. You know what I mean? And he's looking in the wrong places. You know what I'm saying? Because the people who actually, they only know him as Killer Jesse. You feel me? They don't know him as Jesse, So he's not getting the positive side. He always just ended up in the negative side, So he's feeding off of the negative side instead of, looking for the positive side his daddy had. You know what I'm saying? His daddy wasn't no messed up person. He was respectful, all that, but he was a gangbanger. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what I was trying to prevent him from. I was just telling him, you have your daddy attitude ways, but you need to use them in a positive way,
Right.
So.
Okay.
See, with mine, they were about 3 or 4 years old when their father passed. And as time went on and they started getting in that cutting up stage, it was like, oh, Lord, what could I do? I said, I don't want my kids to end up there. My son, he was already battling he had cancer at the time. And I was battling, trying to get him right, trying to get anger management for my 5-year-old because she had a horrible behavior problem. And with the loss of their father, I didn't know where to go, where to turn to. And I just got on I always remember my grandma used to say, every knee shall bow. And I bowed them knees. And from that point, I just took control on them. I started snatching my daughter up at 5. I started putting her in disciplinary type of projects like Girl Scouts, dance, something that would discipline her. And by the grace of God, both my children, my son is on his way to college this year, and my daughter's graduating college this year. So I had to play that man role. I couldn't think about being the mother. I was being the father at points and the mother at another point. But to this day, they ask me questions because now my daughter's growing up. She's looking for that, I wish my dad was here, because now she's going into her own relationships. And it's like it's so hard to try to be that part, and they reject their step parent, so it's hard. And that's right now is the hardest time I'm having with her.
Right. Well, you know what? Another thing is it easy bringing another man into your child's life? Is it how difficult is it for you to bring another man into your child's life, from your child losing their father to incarceration to death to whatever the circumstances? How hard is it for that? And sometimes if the fathers are still around, sometimes the fathers come in and they sabotage and this, that, and the other because they have there's another man in there. How do you guys deal with that, Keisha?
I'm trying. I mean, I just deal with it day by day. You know what I mean? I did wait a long time. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like I said, it's all God's doing. I'm just.
Do you get any rebellious from the child because the child is, you bring in another man in and they have no respect and they're looking like, who is this? I don't know you, and this, that, and the other. Do you have to fight that as well?
Yeah, I done went through that, whatever, but because at first it started off, cool, and then he started, rebelling, acting out, whatever, but,
when he kind of when they figure out that that's not a friend of theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's at first when he found out, like, I'm not here to be your friend. You know what I'm saying? We have other type of conversations besides the blood conversations. And when he found out, like, oh, he's real. You know what I'm saying? For us, like, on the man tip, like, he backed up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like he not the type I'm not finna joke with you, play with you, none of that. You know what I mean? It's a time and place for everything. But yes. I'm not here to be your homie.
Right.
Some of the kids actually want you, oh, yeah, well, you're with my mom now, so you got to do what we say do. And, when you have that real man, he gonna make you bow down. Like, hold up, wait a minute.
Yes.
I done stepped into your mom's life,
yes.
and I'm helping your mother now.
I can speak.
And you're gonna have to back down on that, And then your kids want to, you're taking that man's side, and it's not about taking their side,
Yeah, that part.
And I have that problem. I had that problem about 5 years ago, but things seem to start working out. They see how things change for the better for them.
Right.
But it was, I'm telling you, a roller coaster.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Keisha, I appreciate you calling in. Continue on listening. Do you have anything else that you would like to say to those children that might be out there that's listening, that's going through this, and they just lost? And a lot of times these kids, they're out there and they're listening and they're just waiting to hear from somebody. Sometimes the moms don't have time. Sometimes the fathers don't have time. And unfortunately, sometimes they're just at work. It's really hard out here now raising these kids because, excuse me?
They just got to find somebody that they really, really can trust and can confide in, and that really is looking out for their best interests. You know what I mean? And ain't just looking, just doing stuff for their own self-motive. You know what I mean? It's just say they did something. You know what I memean? They need to find somebody that's just really into them and care about their well-being.
Right. Because a lot of times we don't realize that, these kids are our future. They're the ones that's going to be taking care of us. We're trying to prevent them from making the same mistakes that we made. Kids are going to make mistakes. We made mistakes. We still make mistakes on a daily basis. Right. No one's perfect. You know what I'm saying? None of us is perfect. God didn't put none of us here as perfect. So we're still continuing making mistakes, but we're learning from those mistakes, and we're trying to teach these young adults.
I always tell my kids, we're all sinners, but we all sin differently.
Exactly.
So I say, I'm not mad at some of the choices that you make, but I'm here to help.
Right.
Whatever I can do.
Right. And it's up to you, and they got to accept that help as well,
Yep.
Keisha, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm still right. I'm listening.
Good luck to your son, and I will keep him in prayer as well.
Oh, thank you.
Did you go see him today?
No.
Oh, no. You didn't get. Oh, yeah. You said you had problems with the car. Okay. Well,
okay.
we're looking for, and we're hoping, and we're praying that he's gonna come home, and when he comes home, he's gonna be sitting right here at this table,
right?
And he's gonna have a testimony and have something to say. And give back, you know what I'm saying? Because it starts with them. It starts with us, and it's up to us to go ahead and give them the knowledge and things like that, to let them know it's okay to be cool, but it's a right way to be cool. Right. And you don't have to be a follower, because a lot of times your friends is not really who your friends are. And we don't find that out until it's way too late.
You still find that out when you're grown, so I mean.
Exactly. As grown folks, we kind of find out, who I thought was my friend ain't really my friend. They my associate, but they not my friend. Right. So that's said as kids, as adults, everywhere. All right, Keisha, thank you for calling. We'll talk to you later. Call in again, okay?
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye. So, Anthony.
Yes.
So, has anything that we've said, had you had to experience any of that as a child?
As far as knowing that the guy's not my friend and more of my dad or someone that my mom's dating, was a big toll on me first, because at first I didn't know who he was, and then my mom started bringing him around more often. Then I started noticing.
Did he come in and was he upset when he found out that you had a father figure and you had someone in your life? Did he come in trying to sabotage or cause any kind of confusion?
No, because my mom only knew who my biological father was for up to a month. Mm-hmm. She never spoke to him. When I was in my mom's stomach, he only knew me up to a month.
Okay.
He doesn't know what I look like. He doesn't know how I act. He doesn't know nothing about me no more.
Okay.
I've never met him. So when my mom told me, when she told my dad was kind of thrown off about it, because he was just like, he was kind of like, okay, like, what do you want me to do? And she's just like, I'm telling you. What she told him is, I'm telling you because I don't want you to get, I don't want to blindside you with it, where you come to my house, I'm like, oh, hey, look, my son's right here. And then you're just like, whoa, like, I'd rather tell you straight up. But of course, it took time for my mom to tell him. Right. Now, when she told him, he came to my house. I remember everything about him. I remember everything about my father, even to the first time I met him. Mm-hmm. First time I met him, my mom's like, oh, hey, this is mommy's friend, Michael. First thing I told my mom, he's not your friend, he's your boyfriend. My mom's all like, what? My mom's like, well, what? And I go, you've never showed me any of your friends. He's your boyfriend.
Children are smart.
And then she goes, yeah. And she's all like, I didn't even know my son knew that. And I was like,
of course.
Mom, you don't bring none of your guy friends over anywhere.
And all of a sudden
you just bring one dude. Like, this dude must be special. So started building a bond with him. I went to work with him. I did stuff with him. And my mom trusted me with him. My mom just gave him the number one rule, which is every mother's rule. You hurt my son.
You have to deal with me.
You got to deal with me. Mm-hmm. So, and then I got older, and then it was funny, though, because there was one day I remember clearly, I asked him, can I call you dad? That just started a huge fight between him and my mom. The only reason why was because we had to share a room. So it was us three in one room. So they go inside the restroom thinking that it's not echoing. Of course, the restroom is the worst place to fight. So I just hear him, what do I tell him? What do I tell him? My mom's like, you decide. It's your decision. He asked you. He didn't ask me. If he asked me, can I call him dad? Then I would say, you know what? Yeah. But he asked you. My dad said, yeah. Started calling him dad. When I grew up, I just called him Mike. My dad's name's Michael. Called him Mike. Big Mike. Then I started calling him dad. When I started calling him dad, that made me feel better because, like, I hate first names. You can ask Cheyenne this. I hate it when people call me Anthony. If you're family, I don't like you calling me Anthony. I like you calling me my nickname. My nickname is Bubba.
Well, Anthony, I like Anthony.
No, but see,
I just play.
Yeah, but that's how I am. Especially with my brother and sister. They call me Anthony. It gets me ticked off because you're not my friend.
Right.
You're not someone I just barely met. You're my blood.
You're family, right?
Please respect me.
Right.
So my dad was pretty much the guy who my mom fell in love with him. She loved how he was. She loved how protective he was over everyone, over us three. At the time, it was just us three. I have a brother and I have a sister. My brother's 10 and my sister's 6. My sister's a spinning image of him. My brother looks like me and my mom and my dad.
Right.
But pretty much growing up, my dad, it wasn't that hard. It was just simple rules. I loved how I grew up because my dad showed me discipline. My dad showed me, you know what? I don't care who you are. I don't care who you think you are, dude. You're not going to talk to my wife like that. You're not going to talk to my girlfriend like that. At the time, it was girlfriend. But then he showed me, you're not going to talk to your mom like that. I don't care how old you are. Even till now, this day, my dad still does that. I can't talk to my mom a certain way. But of course, I'm a kid. And you guys can both vouch. I'm one of those kids where if it's just me and my mom, I'm going to mess with my mom so good. But once even my brother and sister, I tell them, all mom has to say to you, wait till your dad gets home. That's like the worst. That's like the worst. And that's what I love. Like, I loved how my parents.
I do that to my kids now. Oh, wait till your daddy gets home.
Right. We need that. Sandra, I have a question for you. So, okay, you said that you lost your kid's father at a very young age. Right. So, how did that affect them? And how has it affected them? Which I can kind of see that it's turned out very well. They're in college. Right. But I'm sure it wasn't an easy road to college.
It wasn't. It was, my kids had challenges because I didn't date for probably 3 years after their father passed. Mm-hmm. And when I did allow a man to come into my life and be there for me and my kids, it turned out into a domestic abuse situation. So it made it harder for them, where my kids, I had to try to be more lenient, okay, kind of brush some things under the carpet to try to, no, don't worry about me. I want you to do this. And I had to do extra stuff and work extra harder to kind of prove to my kids that, yes, I'm going through this, but this has nothing to do with you, And when I first met the person, I didn't think it was going to turn out the way it was. It was good for the 2 years, but after that, it just became so violent that my kids started participating in the fighting and jumping in on them and doing different things and couldn't get rid of this person for nothing in the world. All I could do was pray and pray and pray till I just felt like I wasn't going to be able to live no more because he was taking me down. He basically I hit rock bottom.
Right.
I hit rock bottom, and when I finally got away, someone came and just basically like a prince, like one of those Cinderella stories.
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid, like I don't think I want to do this, but his I don't know what it was, but it was just his spirit that just hit me, and that's who I'm with now.
Okay.
Who I'm with now, and he has helped me so much with my kids, but my kids kind of rejected him because of my situation with the other relationship.
Because they didn't know.
They didn't know.
And they was like, okay, is he gonna come in here tripping and doing all this too? So
right.
they was like,
they were confused.
Right,
but
right.
Today they ask me questions since they're older. Well, what really happened to my dad, and can you kind of explain to me? And I just say, your dad lived a life, and he was in gangs. He was a drug dealer, and he did do this. And I do explain to my kids everything that went on, but I kind of just keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
I keep it simple because I don't need them asking questions. I said whatever it is, like I tell them, there's always three truths: the person who did it, and God, and it's all in God's hands. So
right.
Don't worry about that.
Right.
Just know that He is your guardian angel, and that's how I leave it with them. But it was really a struggle, and right now with my daughter, it's like I've been having a lot of challenges with her, but I like I say, Lord, thank you for letting me be her mother, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you the upper hand because
it's not
you
my
have
battle.
control. It's not my battle now. So and she's coming back, but she's still in school. She didn't drop out of school, and in May she'll be graduating. So I praise God for that.
Yes, because so many times that as children we get frustrated and we drop out of school. We start doing other things. I know I did. I did. I didn't have my father around. I have no clue who my father's name is. My father could be 1-800.
We're in the same boat.
My father could be 1-800, and I wouldn't know. So I do understand that. And my mother had to raise me as a single parent and stuff. So I never knew any type. I had no type of male figure, and that becomes very hard on children because as we're growing up, especially as women and little boys too, we don't have those male figures in our lives, so we don't know what a positive male figure is supposed to be.
Right.
So sometimes we accept everything because
that's what was with me. And like I said, about a year ago, my brother contacted me and told me that he contacted our biological father. But I'm like, well, what are you telling me for? Like, I done been through domestic abuse. I done been through homelessness. I done been through so much gang banging, selling drugs. I done been to juvenile hall. I said, but when I had my first child at 18, I didn't want to live like that because I seen how my homegirls, how my homeboys were doing, what type of life they were living in. I just looked at my kids in a whole nother perspective. I just smiled at my kids like, Lord, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to have my kids flamed up. I don't want to be my kids' friend. I want to be their mother, you know?
Right.
And that's what really changed me. And that's after their father had got killed, I left. I left the neighborhood because I just looked at my kids like God has something better for me and has something better for them.
You got to step on faith, and that's what you did.
And I stepped out on faith. I worked all my life since I was 14 years old, because I was on probation. I had to work, but when I got to that adult age at 18, I was working. I went back to school. I worked at Cedars-Sinai for over 17 years. And, and it was, but I'm grateful for everything that I've been through.
And see, kids need to know that even though we go through the things that we do and we made the mistakes that we do, that we have
choices.
We have choices, and it's still at the end of the tunnel. I'm still a success. I'm still standing here.
Yeah, I look at, I
love
so many
where
of
I
us
come
that
from.
are not.
There's so many people. There's so many of us that are not here. And I will never bash my homeboys, homegirls, and this, that, and the other, because they've taught me a lot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They do. They teach you the good and they teach you the bad too.
Yeah.
And they are there for you, but it's just it's really it's just
everybody
different.
has like a different story in their life. So some
Right.
people still live, the life because it's other things that's going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
Something I can't control or they can't control. But I had to take mine to God.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I took it to God because I had nobody else to turn to.
Right.
My brother was in prison. I was basically out here by myself.
Right.
Right. My parents, I come from a biracial family. I'm Hispanic and Black. So who do I talk to about? Because my life was nothing but I did nothing but what my African side would do, so they didn't understand where I was coming from either, so it was like they were lost.
Right.
So I basically was out there alone.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Swag Talk. You like that? You like that little beat?
He got some swag in him over
He has some
Bubba.
swag going on.
All right, Bubba.
Okay, Bubba. Now I know. Okay, is it okay though? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think we all are family here.
Yep.
So, just reiterating back on our topic, the loss of father due to death, incarceration, gang violence. A lot of times why we keep on keeping that gang violence in there is because basically that's what swag is about. Sisters working against gang violence.
Right.
And we kind of keep on bringing it to that because this is what these kids are looking at. They're looking at us and, they're looking at the homeboys and they're trying to emulate what they big homeboys did and this, that, and the other, but they're really not understanding. Right. It was a different ball game then. Now there's no, there wasn't any then, but it's really cutthroat now. Right. There's no loyalties. There's no respect. There's no, as they said, there's nothing there. So these kids are out here and they're just doing any and everything, And they don't know what they're doing.
That's because the mothers also give up on them.
Yes, because mothers do. We do. We do. You know, because you get tired of fighting.
Repetitive.
That repetitive. You get tired of fighting that battle. I mean, me. I can speak for myself.
Right.
I have a 27-year-old that's incarcerated right now, and I'm raising 3 of my his children, or shall I say, 2 of his children, and 1 is their half brother. But I'm raising them as the mom, full-time mom, because mom's not around.
Oh, okay.
Dad's not been around, and Dad is my son.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I commend you for that.
You know, and my sons, you know, I call them my sons because that's all they know. I've had them ever since one, Johnny, he was 6 weeks old.
Oh, wow.
Okay, he's 7 now. His brother, Daniel, he's 8. He was 12 months old. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And now I have their sister, which is my grandbaby. She's been with me for a little bit over a year. You know what I'm saying? So I understand. And my son, my own son, and this is really, you know, especially because this is what I do, and it's very hard because my own son doesn't have any kind of relationship with his children.
Wow.
He doesn't even know his children.
That's hard. That's hard.
I got a phone call when he needed me. Mom, I need you. They about to take my kids. You know, because the girl was out there doing her thing and this, that, and the other. And he was like, the people. I was like, what people? He talked about DCFS. I'm like, okay, I'm on my way.
Right.
You know, I'm working on 39th and Crenshaw.
Right.
And I get to California Hospital in about 2.2 seconds. And before I can get there, my babies is gone.
Wow.
They already gone. You know, so I understand. And it was crazy because I was going through something at that time. I can remember when I got that phone call in August of 2007. I was going through a whole lot at that time. You know what I'm saying? I had just lost my husband from lung cancer in July of 2007. So I was going through some things. Then I get this call. So I've been there, and my kids, that's all they know. And from that point, my son has not laid eyes on his children.
Wow.
He has no connection with them. And right now, you know, it's a
He's still incarcerated?
He's still incarcerated.
I haven't
no, because he doesn't even know them.
Okay.
He doesn't even know them. He's probably seen them 5 times in their lives. Now he's been kind of reaching out to me, you know, trying to talk to me and things like that. And of course, I'm not going to turn him down.
Right.
I'm like, hey, you know, what's going on? I've always been here. My number been the same for the last 12 years. Like,
right.
You found me then, you could have found me now.
Uh-huh.
I'm still here. You know, so we kind of talk, and it's funny because I don't know how this conversation is going to be, because when he's calling and he's talking. He's like, hey, Mom, how you doing? I'm fine. Everything's good. How's my kids? And I'm like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
your
well,
kids? Okay.
Like, I don't know how to answer that. I'm like, they all right. Well, tell my kids I love them. Well, how can I tell somebody that you love them that's never, ever met you, right, and you've never wanted to meet them? And it's kind of hard because I have to be very careful, because I need to sit down and talk to him and let him know there's some rules and regulations, right, because I can't allow you to come into this household and just say, hey,
step in.
Hi. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm married now and I have a husband and he's been there, and that's all they know.
Right.
That's all they all.
And that was that talk right there.
Exactly. That's all they know.
They're going to reject him.
They're going to reject him. And mind you, my kids are very smart. They know that my husband is not their dad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's what they know.
But that's what they know.
That's what they
know.
So
I have to talk to my son and let him know, look, I don't know what's going on with you. I've always been here for you. But we're going to have this talk, because what I can't do is I can't allow you to come in and destroy and sabotage everything that I have built. And the fact that I have 3 and one of them is not his, I can't let you come in there and conquer and divide, because I don't want you to come in there and make my oldest one feel in a certain kind of way, because my boy Johnny, that's 7, and my girl 6, those are his children. But their brother Daniel, that's 8, is not his child. They just all share the same mom.
Right. But
So-
you kept them together.
But I kept them together. You know what I'm saying? When I got this, I went to get one, and they tricked me, and they gave me a 2-for-1 special. You know, I came down, try to pick up one kid, and they was like, "Well, you gonna take the other one? What other one? What are you talking about?"
Right.
But it's, you know, and it's been like that. And trust and believe that
God made a way.
He made a way, and it wasn't supposed to be permanent. You know what I'm saying? I really thought that my son was going to get his stuff together, and was praying that their mom was going to get their stuff together, but I knew that was kind of rude,
Right.
slim. But it has turned out that they've been with me all this time. You know what I'm saying? And I've adopted them, because what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to allow them, you or anybody else, to come in here and drag me back and forth to court and want to play these games with me.
Right.
Because when you think you're playing these games with me, you're not playing these games with me. You're hurting these kids.
Exactly.
Because you're going to come in and you're going to want to, you know, play that role, and I'm your daddy, and I'm this, and this, that, and the other. And then when you get the next sack or whatever,
Right.
you gone. And then I'm here left answering these questions, because, of course, they're going to ask, well, where is such and such?
So is your son involved in gangs?
Yes, he is.
He is,
Yeah,
okay.
yes, he is. And that's crazy, because to this day, he tries to hide it from me. I don't know what they call him. And then he went way to the east side. Boy, what you doing over there? I can't help you over there. You, me or your daddy can't help you over there. But,
Right.
you know, he ran way to, and it was crazy, because my son did not start gangbanging until you turned 18. So he was a little smart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He knew that, like, okay, I can't even go this
You
route.
sheltered them too long.
You know what? I think
You sheltered them
I
for
think
a
I
long
did shelter him, but he knew. You know what I'm saying? He knew.
You know, that's when they run wild, right?
Yeah, he knew. He's like, I knew he knew that mom was a little active, and he was like, I can't play no games with her, so I'm going to
Right.
go ahead and I just got to
I'm
sneak
18,
around.
now
I got to
can
sneak
do
around
this.
these corners and stuff like that, because he knew I wasn't playing games with him. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not playing games with you. So therefore, he waited till he turned 18, and guess what? I respect that, because you didn't do it in my household.
Exactly.
Because now at you 18, hey.
And it takes longer for men to actually mature. So maybe now that he's reaching out, yeah, you guys do need to sit down and talk. But
Right,
yeah,
right.
that's about the time. How he's 27 now.
He's 27, you know, and he's been
Maybe
he's been incarcerated. He has been since he left my house at 18. Because at 18, on his birthday, when he turned 18, he left my house, and it was crazy, because I came home to, you know, like, hey, you 18 now, coming home from break,
Right.
and I see him down the street with a garbage bag, taking it down Jefferson. I'm like, well, where are you going? He's like, oh, I'm moving. Okay, well, give me my key.
Okay.
You know, give me my key. And unfortunately, ever since then that he's left my house, it's been downhill. He's been incarcerated. And I keep on trying to tell him, I said, you need to stop doing whatever you're doing, because you ain't even a smart criminal, because you keep on getting caught, and you keep on going to jail, and you keep on getting lucky, because at first they was playing with you, they're giving you probation, and you know you just
Yeah,
summary
they got
probation,
tired of playing with him.
and they got tired of playing with him. Now you sitting up there in the state prison, like
Big
you
dogs, huh?
with the big dogs, scared, terrified,
Right.
because this is not what you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I have to really pray and hope this is going to work out for us too, because I don't know what he's expecting. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I have to make sure I protect those kids, because I can't allow him to come in
and
here
sabotage what
and
you
sabotage what I have built, what my husband has built with these kids, and this,
Right.
that, and the other, and then store the positive things in them. I'm not saying that they don't have to know him, because
Right.
they do know. They're very smart.
They deserve it. They
do.
deserve to know.
Well, my son told me, I had a conversation with my son, and I asked him, I was like, well, Johnny, do you know what adoption is? And he was like, yeah, I know what adoption is. And I was like, what is adoption? He said, that's when the parents can't take care of the kids, and other people have to take care of the kids. He said, they even do that with dogs on SPCCI. I said, well, SPCCI, what is that? But I knew what he was talking
Right.
about, and this boy was 6 years old. So that let me know he knew what I was talking about. I said, oh, okay. I said,
So
well,
he knows.
yeah. So I said, well, son, it's SPCA.
Uh-huh.
He was like, oh, okay, well, they adopt dogs too. So, kids they do know, and we're going to have that conversation and stuff like that. And God's going to work through us with that as well. Anthony.
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So you were saying that, so you didn't have to go through the drama, your mom didn't have to go through. So what is the relationship now with with your biological father? What is the relationship now? Or do you guys even have a relationship?
With my biological father?
Uh-huh.
I don't know him.
You don't know him. Okay, so
I've had, I explained to Cheyenne, I've had dreams where it's like he showed up randomly to my house. He knew, I feel like, to me, not knowing who your father is, it's a cat and mouse game that you play in your head, because it's just is he going to show up one day? Is when the best day when, my mom and dad are happy? I've always thought of, what if he shows up on the 25th anniversary of my mom and dad's, he shows up and he says, hey, I'm so-and-so.
So he's never
shown up.
He's never shown up. He's never tried to reach out to your mom or anything.
I don't know if he's tried to reach out to my mom. I've asked her. She said no, of course. But, she can keep keeping that from me.
Right.
But then me and my mom have a close relationship, a very close relationship, to the point where I can tell my mom anything.
Right.
Anything. And she won't judge me for it, because she's one of those people where you can tell me what you like. In other words, she goes, you can talk to me about your sex life, mijo. I have no problem with that. Why? Because I want you to be able to open up to me, just like my dad. I've asked my dad about what happened. He's been into a car accident. He had a past too. And I asked him about it. Hey, Dad, how's this? Or I'll ask him if I have questions that I'm questioning myself and I know about myself, I go to my dad. Why?
So
because my dad's the male. My dad's always told me the golden rules. God comes first before anyone.
Yes.
Man, woman, child, doesn't matter who it is.
Yes.
Respect your girlfriend at all times. No smacking, no hitting. And because of what my mom's past how was, I know that.
Right.
I've been in a very abusive relationship to the point where I didn't hit the girl. She hit me.
Good. That's good that I like that.
And that's why I tell people, when people see me and they meet me for the first time, they love how I am, because my heart's not, anyway. It's not hanging. And in other words, what people say, it's not down there. It's actually in where my heart needs to be. It's not up in my head, and it's not at the bottom of my pants. It's actually where I want it to be.
Well, I want to ask ask one question. At what point do you give up on the man and depend on God? Sandra?
At what point?
Because I think you, at one point, you made that decision.
I made that decision because looking at my kids and just looking at my black eye, looking at my busted tooth, my broken leg, and I said, who do I want to live for? It's not me. I want to live for my kids. I want to continue being their mother. That's all my kids have is me. Lord, help me get through this. What could I do? It took probably felt like it was my last breath before I could say, God, please take the wheel. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and I joined church. And from that point, nothing bothered me no more. And one day it was just like I cried. I felt like I was crying for days, and it was only 2 seconds.
Wow.
But it just cleared my whole mind, my soul, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot.
Right.
That's exactly what my mom said. My mom just said, I'm done. And she said, my mom told me because she dated, but she told me honestly, she said, you want to know when I gave up, mijo? And I said, what? She said, I gave up when I knew that, you know what, it's not there. She said, and I told God, and do you remember what I told you? I said, yeah, I remember what you told me. You don't care what man comes into my life as long as God is there. That's all that matters.
Right.
He stepped in and showed out.
And he always does.
Yes.
He always does. Well, I would like to thank you too.
Oh, you're welcome.
Anthony, thank you for such short notice for stepping in today. Sandra, thank you.
Oh,
thank
welcome,
you.
Spring.
You know, we want you here every Sunday if you can be here. Not you don't just have to come when there's absence between me or Bubbles. You're open door.
And I thank you guys for allowing me to come here. And I enjoy these talks.
Yeah,
I enjoy these
talks.
We
need these talks. And for those listeners that have logged in, maybe haven't called in, I hope you've gotten something out of this, and you can take this and meditate on it. And don't be afraid. You know, call in. We're here every Sunday. Call in, log in, talk to us, and things like that. And God bless. Okay. Good night, everyone.
God first. Without him, nothing's possible. Binky Mac on the track, DJ Sales, Iceberg the Great, Mr. Los Angeles. I'm here with the sisters that's working against gang violence. You got Miss Bubbles, Miss Spring, Lady Slick, Put, and Married Therapist. And Miss Married Therapist, man, she got that card for you. She wants you to sit down and tell her about how you feel. She'll make sure you walk around feeling good about yourself. I need all the G's, YGs, OGs, double G's, triple OGs. Without y'all, we can't make it happen, man. This is our community. Our main goal is to reach the young children that are followed by the TVs and media. Special thanks to the commander for the elite gang intervention training. Special shout out to Skip Townsend for opening the door. Like I said, these ladies are here to help. They're here for gang intervention, domestic violence. Shout out to those who support. They here for the mothers who lose their sons to jail and or death. So, if you with the movement, please check these sisters out. Like I said, Miss Bubbles, Miss Spring, Lady Slick, Put, and Married the Therapist. Working against gang violence. Working against gang violence. Swag V.